Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to let people roll in for a few moments before we get started. I hope everyone's having an awesome Sunday. It's great to be here with you today. This is an opportunity for anyone who might be interested in working with me in a coaching capacity, whether it's through my group or individually, to kind of ask questions and just get a feel for what is involved. And oftentimes, current group members and current clients love to hop on and get a sense and give their feedback on their experience. I would love for you all to put your cameras on if you're willing, so I can see you and we can connect. No obligation, of course. But this is really your opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. Registration is going to close very, very soon. We are almost completely full. So I do love to do this little open house each session to just give people the opportunity to connect live and get a sense of the group and my coaching style and see if it's a fit for you. So I'll just give you a little bit of an overview. Hopefully you know all the basics, but I'll give you an overview while we're waiting for people to log on. It is a 6-month program. Many people have been in the group for 3+ years now, because it's a group and a program that grows with you. There's not a set curriculum that gets repeated every single time. It grows with my clients and with their needs. There is a foundation that I teach everyone in terms of nervous system regulation, which I believe is the missing link for most people who struggle with food. Once they've gotten the basics down of understanding nutrition and meal plans and the basics of how to eat and how to move, most people I have found still struggle due to nervous system dysregulation. So a good bit of what I teach is to help people's nervous system move out of fight or flight and into more relaxation response, so that we are not seeking out food to calm down, to ground ourselves, to numb, to escape, all the things that food was not designed to do, but can be helpful for in a pinch. So I have meditations that I teach people that are specifically targeted to actually change how your brain works and how the glands operate with each other. We do emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping, which helps clear out some of those subconscious blocks and patterns and helps you with that neural reprogramming. And then, of course, we do coaching where people ask their coaching questions and I answer them, and those are specific to a person who's being coached. I do believe that when one person is being coached, everyone's being coached. Oftentimes people have concerns of like, what is the size of the group? And there's this fear that there's not going to be enough to go around. And that's the exact opposite. The more people there are in the group, the more rich it is, because the more types of different scenarios people face and no question goes unanswered. It is always my promise to you that there will not be. The only question that will go unanswered is the one that is not asked. And that is my commitment to each and every group member. So with that, we work on the subconscious level, we work on the conscious level, we work on the energetic level, because this is a multi-layered issue, as you all know by now. And so we have to work on multiple levels. And I developed this program really out of just the witnessing of the incomplete healing that I was seeing happening with just the tools of Western psychology alone in helping people with their food problems. And I just was on a path to help people who struggle with food to find the path to as complete of healing as is possible. And I believe that recovery is a conversation. I talk about this a lot. We heal in community. We often suffer alone, and we want to do things alone, and we want to do them our way. And there's just a lot of thatness that keeps us stuck. And what I have found is that when we find the right community of people and a feeling of safety and trust, we're able to push through barriers that seemed, unconquerable prior. And the group really evolves with those who are in it. And so there really is no limit, only the belief that you can or cannot heal. I think that's the most important piece. And we do a lot of conversation, more than anything, probably around mindset and perception, because that's where our power truly is the power to shift our perception from one perspective to another. And we can talk ourselves into the ditch and we can talk ourselves out of it, and we have to behave ourselves out of it, right? We can talk until the end of time, but if there's not committed action behind it, it's not going to go anywhere. And so, we try, pacing is a really important piece of this process of not overwhelming you with too much too soon, but also pushing you to get out of the comfort zone a little bit. If what you're doing is 100% comfortable, it's probably not going to bring around the change that you're desiring. But there is a middle ground between, sustainable and manageable discomfort for a short period of time and something that feels overwhelming. And that is definitely calibrated to the individual. This is not a quick fix solution. This is not a one and done. I mean, some people have amazing miracles the moment they sign up, because it's that readiness, it's that willingness, and the readiness and willingness to get into action. But this is about sustainability and long-term recovery, so that as you're doing this difficult and often painful work, you don't have to keep treading that same painful, difficult ground again and again and again. The only way out is through. And so we go through and then we get to the other side. And it doesn't mean that there aren't ever setbacks. Life is life, but we learn how to deal with them. And when life gets lifey, our food doesn't have to go to the ditch, right? Our self-care doesn't have to go to the ditch. And I teach you how to start to maintain your self-care and your stability in your food and your body when life is going crazy around you. That's a huge mission of mine. So that's kind of like an overview. Each week we start out with meditation, brief meditation. We might do a tapping session, and then we dive into our coaching, and then there might be different didactic topics that we cover based on requests from the group or the needs of the group. I'm very tuned into what you need and want, and very much about giving you that if and when appropriate. There is not a set meal plan that everyone gets and has to follow. I get that question a lot. This is not about that. I can help you with your meal plans for sure, and that's an integral piece of most people's recovery. But this is not about a cookie cutter, one size fits all solution. There's room for different people to have different kinds of meal plans that include different kinds of food at different times of day. It's really tailored to what your struggles are, what your goals are, what your needs are, and those shift over time as well within the individual. But it is on each person in the group to raise their hand and bring it to my attention, because unless you tell me what's going on, I have no way of knowing, right? And so that's it. The communication piece is a really important piece of it. And I share this at the beginning of every group in the first session, but I might as well share it now too. This concept of contempt prior to investigation, it's a concept that's very, for anyone with 12-step background will recognize that phrase. And so because I'm going to be introducing you to a lot of innovative, out of the box stuff that you haven't maybe seen of, heard of before, you might even think is a little bit wacky, our instinct is to be like, oh, that's not for me, or oh, I've tried that, it doesn't work, or to like poo-poo something that feels different to us just because we don't like change as much as we say we want change. Intuitively, most of us don't love it. And so I ask people to resist the urge to have contempt prior to investigation. Even if you have tried something that I'm recommending before, in a different framework and it didn't work for you, there is still value in trying again in a supportive, contained, safe environment with me guiding you. And I am an expert and I own that fully. I have worked in this field for 20 years. I have helped thousands of people. I've seen lots of things not work in that time. And I'm very good at reading people pretty intuitively, pretty quickly. That doesn't mean that everything works perfectly the first time, but I feel incredibly confident in the advice that I give because this is an interactive process. And I feel very equipped to help you no matter what the scenario is, unless it's outside of my zone of expertise, which I will be the first to tell you when that is, because it's not ethical for me to try to help people in an area where I am not an expert. And I will always call that out. So I think that that's a really important piece of things. I've had people who want to be coaches join my group and try to like learn what I'm doing and how I coach people and want to be anonymous in the group. And it's a very creepy thing. So I've been able to weed those kind of people out at this point, but you don't want to work with those people who are just copying other people's solutions. Whoever you work with, you want to make sure that what they're working with has a track record behind it. And so I hope that, all the testimonials that I include on the registration page are helpful in this work. It is a fine balance because of the duty of confidentiality that I do have to all my clients. So it's difficult to share people's experience and protect confidentiality at the same time. So I could give you more, but then I couldn't on that front. But I would love for you all to just jump in and ask any questions that you might have. This is not going to be a long session today, but I really wanted you to have the opportunity to ask anything, and do not be afraid that a question will offend me or hurt my feelings or whatever. I want you to really ask those questions. So please, if under the reactions button, there should be a raise hand icon. If you have a question that you'd like to ask, please do so. And this recording will go out to my mailing list, but I will be the only person seen on the camera, but your voices will be heard, just so you know that. So go ahead and raise your hand if you have a question or if there's a specific topic that you'd like to know more about. I'm really happy to see all of you here today. Or if there's anything you want to share about your experience so far, that's amazing too. Vicki, I love to see you here, even though the group isn't the right time for you. It is recorded. It is recorded, and that's a really important thing. We've had people in various time zones all across the world be able to benefit from this because every session is recorded. And if you can't be here live, you can always submit a question ahead of time and I will answer it to the best of my ability. And I really do hold very tightly to this process of continuous improvement. So every group is different. The dynamics of the people are different, but I hope that we are always, always, always on a upward trajectory because we never want it to get old, boring, or cookie cutter. We've got to keep up with life and with where our recovery is at any given moment. Vicki, did you have a question? Okay, go ahead and unmute.
Thank you. Hi, always so great to see you. I listen to your recordings. I'm a huge fan. I am trying to do a bank transfer at this moment. So how do I do that? I couldn't even raise my digital hand. So like when it says to account, writing a check for the program, the group.
I think that the registration, is credit card only. I think it's credit card. You just do it online. Let's take that offline, Vicki.
Sure, of course,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
like, just say Joy Jacobs at blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Oh, no, I think that it's all through Teachable. When you sign up on the registration, it's click to enroll and then you enter credit card information and then it signs you up. I don't think there's a way to write a check or do a bank transfer.
Okie doke. Okay.
unless someone else has done it. I haven't purchased my own program. That's a missing link here. That
Oh,
but let me know if you can't work it out and we'll figure that out. Okay, Vicky? Oh, I'm so happy that you're going to join. I
yeah. I
love your
started resume yesterday. The 2024, I had never done even the old one. And I
yeah.
just admitted to myself that I do not follow the plan. I'm doing Vicky's plan. Oh, sometimes I'll have a fruit here or there. I'm juggling. It's just not working. So, yeah.
Let's take
I,
the plunge together. We're going to go through spring, summer, fall. It's going to be amazing, Vicky. I'm so excited. I know that you can do this. You have such strong recovery behind you and you know how to do this. You just need the momentum, the community, and the support. So that is here for you. Beautiful. Robin,
I just wanted to, I have purchased before, so I thought I'd jump in.
thank
Vicki,
you.
yes, you're going to go to drjoyjacobs.com and then there'll be different options. I'm sorry, the cat and dog are growling. um, and you'll pay on her site and then you'll get something that'll take you to Teachable. But you actually pay on your drjoyjacobs.com.
No, you don't. It's through Teachable. I know it looks like that because of the URLs, but the
Oh,
registration page takes you right. Like there's nothing that anyone needs to figure out. When you go on the registration page and click the red box which says sign me up or enroll, it will take you right to that to the payment page where you choose your option and should be pretty seamless, but we can do this together, Vicky, after if we need.
okay. And then I just wanted to say, I've been lucky enough and to done several groups, and I was a person that I think I emailed Dr. Joy for a year before, and I had started with Bright Line Eating, really as a diet. I had some success initially, and then I went into the ditch and for 3 years, and honestly, really struggled. And the idea of support to me sounded exhausting because I was giving a lot to a lot of people, and the idea of taking care of myself sounded selfish and awful. Um, and I've just experienced such, well, one, a really supportive community. And I wasn't a group person before. I mean, I used to lead groups, but for participating myself and asking for help was like out of my comfort zone. And I've had a lot of health challenges. I've gone through a lot, and truly Dr. Joy has been with me every step of the way. Um, I just recently celebrated 900 days of being no binging, no, I have a whack-a-molar, so I have other addictions. And anyway, I got to talk to someone one-on-one, and it was just so wonderful to share how incredible the program is and the changes I've seen and continue to see, because it's also very true. It grows with you. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for sharing your experience. And it always, as I say, is always a collaboration and a partnership, right? And Robin's start had some fits and starts. It wasn't smooth sailing from day one. And that's actually part of the recovery process. If everything is easy breezy right from the start, that may mean you're not really making the changes. So the key is just to continue. It's not about never falling down. It's about continuing to get up and really understanding that like perfection is not required for you to be 1,000% better. And I think, you know, the downside of having a 6 month program is that there's an end point and people put pressure on themselves like in this 6 months all these things have to be accomplished. And if I have one message for you today, I would just allow you or encourage you to live each day in that day and not, try to avoid the instinct to grade yourself on how well you're doing, as long as you're showing up for the things that I'm recommending that you do and you're showing up for the process, then the results eventually become inevitable, as they were in Robin's case. But it's not like she didn't get those 900 days. It didn't start the first day she started group at all, but she kept showing up in the struggle. And that's what we do. Because again, if this was an easy fix, if this was something we could do on our own with the tools we already had, if we would have done that already. And so I think just taking the time pressure off and giving yourself the luxury of just not judging and grading and evaluating yourself, other than holding yourself to the commitment to show up as best you can on any given day. And on some days, that's going to be, you're going to show up 100% for yourself and for what you need to do for your recovery. Some days that might be 5%, but it's not zero, right? We just do the best we can. And I do find that like the more that we continue to show up and the more we get into this new rhythm that we build here, it becomes very, I call my program like joyful recovery, because I don't think that recovery needs to be just like grunt work, grudge work, misery, pain. Those feelings can be part of it, but they shouldn't be what it is. Like this process, I hope, becomes joyful and elevating for you in a way that you wouldn't want to live any other way moving forward. And you're not losing something, you're gaining something. And you really start to feel that empty hole inside that we often use food and other addictions to heal. You start to feel that start to melt away, and you start to be able to give to yourself in a real way versus trying to stuff things down, avoid, and escape. Grace, do you have any questions? Don't mean to call you out, but I want to make sure that people who are here and who are on camera have that opportunity to ask any questions.
I do have one question. I know you says it doesn't matter how big the group is, but I'm just curious, are we talking 100 people here? Are we talking about 50 people?
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
usually
for
like
me,
40, yeah, it's usually 40 to 50 people. It
Oh.
depends on which track people are on. Also, there's different numbers for the different program options. And usually half attend live and half don't. So it feels, I don't know, maybe Robin, you can share your feeling about group size. When Robin started, I think there were 10 people in group, and then there were 12, right? Or 13, and then
Oh.
it grows, and like there was some fear around, oh, there's not going to be enough to go around, but it's not like that. More is more in this scenario. I mean, I would cut it off at a certain point, but it's not 100 people.
And then of those like 40 people, how many people, I mean, you might, I don't know if you know, have done your program before. So how many about are new
It's
to
usually about
you?
50-50. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
usually
cool.
50, which is awesome because there's room to grow, and like there are enough people that are also new to this that you don't feel like, oh, everyone like knows what they're doing and I don't.
Right.
It's not like that at all. And what I also do, if you want to be, I create what I call pods. If you want to be in smaller groups, after the first month, I break you down into groups of like 4-5 people. You might want to do a book club together. You might want to do a mastermind group. You might just want to be kind of like accountability buddies. You get to decide. And again, that's optional. So on the third Monday of the month, when we don't meet as a large group, you can meet with your pods and you can be texting if you want that. If you don't want that, it's not required, but that's also a way to have like a smaller mini community within the larger group as well.
Great. And one more question, because it was unclear to me when you described the program. There was some talk about individual sessions, but then some are group. And so I wasn't sure, like with all the levels, it was a little overwhelming for me.
So there's a basic group, which is you come to group on Mondays, 3 Mondays a week, and we coach whoever wants to be coached there. And we have a private Slack community. That's the foundational program. Then there's something called enhanced support, which means on Slack, which is this very simple to use app that if you don't know it, you'll become familiar with it quickly. Don't stress, there's a tutorial on how to use it in the platform. Enhanced support gives you the ability to send me DMs, text messages on that platform between sessions if you have questions. But for someone who's really, really struggling, I highly recommend, or if you really want to make a lot of progress, you don't have to be really, really struggling, but you want even more personalized attention, you could choose the plus option, which includes one individual private one-on-one session with me per month, or premium, which is 2 sessions private one-on-one with me per month. So those are the 4 levels.
Thank you.
And then there
That
are
clears it up a lot. I don't know why
Yeah, and
I
then
was
there are
having trouble
options.
wrapping my brain around it. And then you were saying the individual sessions are full, and I was like, wait a minute, can you
Well,
do
there's
just
one
individual sessions?
spot left for individuals. If you want private sessions for me, there's 1 spot left and 1 spot only.
Okay.
But there also, it probably looks a little confusing too, because for each program option, there are also payment plan options if that's better for you financially. So yeah, so
Okay,
that's
thank
the
you. I
little-
appreciate you answering my questions.
You're so welcome. What about you, Anne Marie? Not to put you on the spot, but do you have any questions? It's beautiful to see you here. Thank you for being here.
Hello. So I'm down in New Zealand. So I'm just wondering whether we're going into winter, so opposite season. Does that make any difference? Probably not.
Oh, and the timing works out great. In our last group, we had someone from Australia and it was like 8 in the morning, her time the next day. But no, there's nothing seasonal, like weather related or anything that would make it less effective or helpful for you based on that.
Because we're 9 a.m. Monday morning at the moment.
Okay, so there you go.
Day.
So the timing
Nice.
will work out well. Yeah.
And normally I'm off on a Monday too. So, but my biggest thing is probably that I haven't quite. I did try and join the Fifth Bright Line Facebook group, and I'm not convinced I'm in that category. So I'm obviously part of BLE, and then I'm a little bit like, oh, I don't know. So I've done a couple of online surveys that suggest I'm not a binge eater, but then I think BLE is not particularly working very well for me because I can't kind of keep my, keep slipping and stuff. And I am a chef, so this is my, I'm around food all the time, and I do have to taste stuff. People have said to me, the suggestions that have been given to me are you can taste it and then spit it out, or that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think I'm probably still in a place where I don't quite fully surrender that I have a bigger problem than what I think I have. So I suspect it's probably further along. I don't know whether that's denial or something, but I definitely need to shore up my my habits and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Well, this would be the place to do it and to start to unravel. It sounds like there are a lot of competing things, and I have worked with chefs before. Chefs have been in my group, and we've been able to work through that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I definitely am at the point where I know I need to get more support somewhere, and I do have a mastermind group and stuff like that. But we're all kind of struggling, so I think, well, that's obviously not working very well.
Well, the other thing that's also been a great part of this group is because there are people who've been in the group for a while and there are also people that are new. There's a lot of opportunity for peer mentorship and support, finding a guide who's actually far along into recovery and things like that, or just new friends and buddies who are really like committed. Because unfortunately, what I have heard with many, mastermind groups is they continue on a friendship level, but everyone's on the same struggle bus and people aren't really getting off. So I think that this is an opportunity for a redirect and a reboot. And, I always say we can start our new year at any time, at any day, at any moment, right? And it's like, now, the time is now. Now is where we have our power in the present moment to make the choices that will serve us It doesn't matter what's happened before, and we have no way of anticipating what's ahead. Our power is in the now. And I just don't want anyone, like, we get one life, right? And it can be amazing, and we can't just fall victim to these old stories that tell us that, we're not capable of change, or we're not worthy of it, or we failed before, so we're going to fail again. Why is this time going to be different? And some of the tools that I give you are really designed to help you break those energetic patterns from the past. And of course, it requires practice and repetition, but they really do work. And when you're in a conversation of recovery with like-minded people, it really does make a dramatic shift.
Yeah, no, that's cool, because I can see none of us are 20.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I know, that's great. Cool.
Awesome, Anne-Marie, beautiful.
Thanks for that.
You're so
Okay.
welcome. Do we have any other questions before we sign off? I want to keep this brief. I know there were some other online activities today, and it's a Sunday afternoon, but I just wanted anyone to just have the opportunity to say hi. There are some amazing on YouTube. There's also previous open houses with kind of spontaneous testimonials from people who've been in group and had really dramatic transformations. And there are all different kinds of transformations. So I think the key is to be really open-minded for yourself about what is possible for you. Yes, Wanda, hi.
Yes, hi. I was part of your coaching back in 2020, and of course the pandemic and all that. And I just wanted to say thank you because of I recently got done with the Glow Up, one of the Glow Up courses too. And I just am so proud of the way you just keep growing and offering more as your heart opens, then you've got more to give to us and stuff. And so if anybody's on the fence, what I got on this call was to just encourage you, lean into your heart and do it, because 4 years from now, you would be just like I am, just being filled with such gratitude for Dr. Joy. So.
Oh, Wanda, that is so lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I did not ask her to come here and say that, or Robin. So thank you for devoting time on your weekend to share that. And your presence is so amazing. And, it's like they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And that's been true in my own life as well. I'm always a student. I am a teacher, but I'm always, always a student and teachable myself. And I believe every coach needs their own coach. Every therapist needs their own therapist. And I do all of that work on a really consistent and steady basis, because that allows me to show up as best as possible for you and to be a clean slate, right? And that's what we get to be here, is we get to make a whole clean slate in our lives. And you would be amazed how quickly, even if physical change can take some time to show up, how just inside and mentally, spiritually, psychologically, we can experience those shifts pretty quickly when we start living differently, even within days. So I just want anyone who is struggling, whether you work with me or in some other framework, I just want to encourage you to never, ever, ever, ever give up, because there is always a solution to each and every problem. There is a solution, and I want you to hang on to that. If you have any further questions, please let me know. I'm so grateful for everyone who came today. Be well. I hope to see you next Monday, May 6th. If you have further questions, just let me know. And yeah, I'll see you there, Vicki. I'm so excited. Thank you. You signed up. That's so awesome. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Much love, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.